Hola, this is Paz. This video is to show you how to reorganize your Spanish portfolio, and a lot of times students will be watching this semester 2 of Spanish 1. Just a quick couple things before we get started. One is you should have the guide for a successful Spanish portfolio that I'm looking at right now that I'm sharing. And if you don't, you're going to want to look in your welcome folder on Schoology to find this, as well as if you haven't yet set up your portfolio or you lost your portfolio, you're going to want to set up the sections. And that's a different video that's also in the portfolio organization part of your Schoology courses welcome folder. So again, today you already have your portfolio, but maybe it just needs some work and it's been a while since you've done anything to organize your portfolio. So a couple of things here. I'm going to remind you of what is in each section, and I'm going to tell you what you should keep. Whatever is not something you should keep is what I would recommend that you actually get rid of. So basically, if I don't mention something in this video, get rid of it so that you only have what's really important and helpful in your binder here. All right, so here we go. The first section of your portfolio is going to be your programas section. Maybe you have something like your whiteboard in front, and that's okay. But the programas section, which is this one, is what you will see first. And remember, this is for weekly calendars. Your teachers probably don't print this off for you, so this would be a spot to print off and put those weekly calendars if you want. Otherwise, it's probably going to be empty. The next section is trabajos actuales, which means daily work. This section is probably going to be empty after this video. So if there's anything in this section, like right now I have this random activity, get rid of that. We're going to move on to this section though, which is canciones. Here's where you're going to want to find a couple things to keep. So in this section, you should probably have the Vivir Mi Vida por Marc Anthony, or Vivir Mi Vida is the song we listened to in the middle of this year. We also had from earlier in this year the packet, or the one sheet. Well, maybe it was a packet, but for Colores Colores, I only have the second sheet, so that might be something, if you don't have the full thing, you might want to ask your teacher. Oh wait, here it is. There we go. So Colores Colores, the lyrics and the biography. So that was the first song we listened to. And then you also have a new song for third quarter, many of you, which is El Mismo Sol. And I'm going to put that one in there as well right now. So then I have 3 songs total. If you did any of these songs when you were in distance learning and you don't have the packets, that is just fine. You could always print stuff off if you did it on Kami, but you don't need to. And so the only thing in this section should be Vivir Mi Vida, Colores Colores, and El Mismo Sol. All right, the next section is called Apuntes de Gramática, or grammar notes. In this section, the only thing you should have are things like this, which are your grammar notes. We so far have done 2 of them, or by the end of the third quarter, you'll have 2 of them done. And if you did these on Kami, it might be a good idea to print them off at some point or to rewrite them on paper, because it is really helpful to have these grammar notes in your binder. So again, any grammar notes are going to be the only thing in this Apuntes de Gramática section. It says Apuntes de Gramática at the top. Our next section takes us back down memory lane. This section called Escaleras is something we typically only do at the beginning of Spanish 1. So in this section, you'll probably see that you already have the escaleras, or the notes that we took on some really introductory phrases, but phrases that you'll probably use throughout your Spanish class. You're going to want to keep any of those escaleras sheets that you already have. Our next section is Conocimiento Cultural, and in this section, you should have things for, I have right here, Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos. It's a packet that some of you will probably have. I also have a packet from the beginning of the year called Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And that Hispanic Heritage Month packet is going to be the only other thing in here right now. Again, if you don't have some of these because we were in distance learning or you lost them, that's okay, but these are things that would be helpful for you to keep for next year if you have them. This is the most important section in your binder, recursos, or resources. And so this section you're really going to want to keep. Most of the things in this section will be your gold sheets for each chapter. And remember, for second semester, we actually gave you a whole packet of gold sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there right now. The only other thing you might have in the recursos section are your objetivos, if you remember from earlier this year. These are things I did tell you to keep in recursos. If you don't have them, they're not as important or as helpful for you. I would definitely focus on keeping your gold sheets, though, in that section. And remember, one of your packets, the very first one, was a gold sheet, and then it had some white sheets after it, but these are really helpful resources because it has things like days of the week and months of the year. So keep that in your resources section as well. The purple section is metas y reflexiones, which is goals and reflections. We haven't had anything right now in that section, so you can just skip that and it should be empty. And then this section is guías, which means guides. And in this section, you should have a couple things that are pretty important. So if you don't have these, make sure you ask your Spanish teacher for a copy. The first one is what I talked about in the beginning of my video. It's called Guide for a Successful Spanish Portfolio, and that's what's guiding your organization throughout the year. Also in that binder, or in that guías or guides section, should be your Cómo usar la computadora, or directions for typing accents and special characters in Spanish. Remember that this is a really good resource when you're doing distance learning or anything on your Chromebooks because it tells you how to insert special characters, especially on the last page that's actually labeled Chromebook. So that's something else that you should have, and if not, ask your teacher for one. It's in the guías section, remember. The very last section is museo, and museo means museum. This is where you'll put completed projects. Now, we don't have any real projects that we've done this year for this section, but you might in the future, so you can just keep the section empty for now. All right, so that is a quick guide to your successful Spanish portfolio, and now it should be organized. Everything that I didn't talk about can be thrown away at this point. Also, a quick note, a lot of people get in the habit of just putting a lot of stuff in this section right here. When you're done with this video, this section should be empty. So if there's anything in here that's not, okay, maybe your flashcards that we've been making, if you have flashcards in there, that's okay. Or if you have like your nameplate, that's okay too. But there shouldn't be papers or gold sheets or anything like that in this section because we want you to be able to find things and keep only what you need. So there you have it, and thank you for watching.